Hi, my name is Jacqueline with Travel Camp Dallas, and today JT and I are going to do a walkthrough on this Forest River Salem 260 RT.
First thing we're going to do, we'll just start with the outside and we'll work our way inside. Now, favorite trailer comes with a 12-volt battery. Also comes with two propane tanks. Now in each propane tank, there is a regulator. Now with the regulator, where each propane tank is, you get a supply from. And on the regulator itself, it has an arrow, so wherever you get your supply from, that's where the arrow is going to point. Now you want to always leave one on or one off while you're using one from the supply. Otherwise, the LP is going to filter through the regulator and drain the gas while in operation. So when you turn it on one side, leave the other side off. The regulator indicates a green, that means you got supply. And when it indicates red, that means it is empty. So once this side is empty, you would turn this off, turn this one on, move the arrow to this side, and you can go fill up the tank if you want to. So you always want to leave one tank closed while in operation. Now, being that said, go ahead and leave one open here. Now right down here is the battery disconnect. So whenever you're in operation or you're plugged in or you are en route with your tow vehicle, which is located here on the 7-way, it has a trickle charge going to the battery. So whenever you are going into storage for any time soon, you can turn this off and it'll disconnect the battery from the trailer. Anything that's may have been left on will drain the battery. So when you ever do have a storage, just make sure that this is in the off position, that while you're traveling or while you're plugged in, this battery disconnect has to always be on. You do have a 12-volt electric jack, on and off light right here. Side, most trailers have stabilizer jacks, so when you are parked, you finally find your destination. Now we're on flat ground, so we really don't need to have blocks, but some parks have gravel, some parks have mud, so you want to get something underneath here so that the ground, it won't sink on the ground when you do put these stabilizers on. You have 4 on the trailer. It is to stabilize it. It is not to jack it up. Otherwise, if you jack it up, it will bend those stabilizer jacks. This is your sewer outlet. You have a gray and you have a black. Always leave the black closed. Reason being is that you got to think of it as a porta potty. If you leave the valve open, like so, the water will drain out and everything else will stay in. So, in other words, anything that's left in the tank will start piling up. Like a porta potty, you have to have chemicals in it, to which it dissolves all the chemicals and anything inside that tank. So you will always want to leave it closed. The rule of thumb is, when you're draining your sewer tanks, this one, you start with the black, then you're with your gray. The gray will flush out anything that's in that sewer hose. Now in this particular unit, you have a black tank flush. Basically, this is what you use when while you're draining the black tank. You would hook up your hose here. Water will flow from this here to the black tank and help flush anything that's out of the black tank. And just be sure to leave the valve open. Otherwise, it will fill the tank up and it will go up through the toilet. You do have an outside shower, hot and cold, real basic. This is your vent, exhaust vent for your furnace. Now, I do recommend getting mud dauber screens because you're not going to use it during the summer. Otherwise, you get critters that go in there and nest, and it gets to be very, very expensive to replace. City wire connection. This is when you know you're going to have a supply at the park where you're at. And this is, and usually want to have a water pressure regulator on it, just because some parks are different. You can also put a inline water filter if you want to, but you have to remember that once you constrict the flow of water, you may not have a whole lot of pressure inside the trailer. Now, if you know you're boondocking, what they call dry camping, and you know you're not going to have a water supply, this is where we call the gravity fill, or where you fill up your fresh water tank. These two are not connected. They're separate entities. In other words, this will not fill up this tank. You do have an outside port for a shower also here. This is your water heater. With this particular model, it's gas run only. There is a switch on the inside where they're located on a monitor panel, whereas all you have to do is hit the switch. It simply ignites itself. Once it's ignited, it will heat the water up to temp, and once it's up to temp, it automatically shuts itself off. And this is where you're going to be hooking up your 30 amp service from your shore power, and it does have the cord inside. Back here is your cable hookup. Now your cable hookup, it says cable, that's all it is. You cannot run satellite on this particular model because you have to have a direct power, signal from the outside to the inside box. So the only thing you can do right now is run cable and antenna in this particular unit. And this just right here is an exhaust port. In case when you have your stuff inside, this will open it up to let the fumes or vapors from any type of fuel that's inside the trailer. Now we're just going to open this up, all intents and purposes. These pins do come out to lower it down, so in case you want to put any four-wheelers, motorcycle, anything that's up to the gross weight of the trailer. You don't want to oversee the gross weight of the trailer. Otherwise, the trailer's going to go from side to side, or lean one side to the other, or vice versa. Out to a patio. These lock into place. Like so. There is a little pad that's underneath here, right here, that unlocks it right there by the foot. this is your outside cable coax connection in case you want to watch TV on the outside. You have a 110 outlet right here. These are just your outside speakers. Just go on the inside. All right. Here's your monitor panel that I was talking about. The monitor panel just shows what the levels of each tank is, your fresh tank and your battery. Water pump, if you're boondocking, this connects to your fresh water tank. Your water heater, that is what you use for the gas side. When you hit the switch on, the little light will come on, and once it's lit, that light will come off. However, you may have air in the lines, and if you do have air in lines, it's going to click several times until it goes into a fault code, or it locks itself out. Now, if that happens, all you have to do is turn it off for 3 or 4 seconds, and then repeat it, and it should just go on. These are your interior lights. These are your outside lights. Radio, Fireplace, it does have a remote. Since we're not hooked up to 110, it's not going to work, but this operates the Fireplace, and this operates off of 110 only. Your refrigerator is your 12-volt refrigerator. It operates actually off the battery. Stove operates off of propane only, not electric. You do have a microwave conventional oven, just like at home. It operates off of 110 and does have a piezo, so if you want to light it, up here is where you'd be hooking up your coax connection, your TV up to here. You have it says an auxiliary satellite and a cable antenna side right here. You do not have a satellite, you just have antenna. And there's a little antenna booster up here. There's a little button, a little green light will come on. If that booster's not on, you will not pick up any antenna channels. This is a King Wi-Fi expander. Basically, if it's pre-wired for it, if you want to have one, you would have to buy this particular manufacturer model. We'll go back over here. Now down here is your propane / carbon monoxide detector. And down here is your converter / fuse panel. Your 110 breakers and your 12 volt. Do recommend getting extra 12 volt fuses in case any one of these go without. And this actually is your converter. Basically what it is, it takes the 110 that's coming in power from your shore power, converts it from 110 to 12 volt. Back here. Oh, your furnace. Not your furnace, but your thermostat. So you always want to has high, low, and auto. You always want to leave it on the auto mode, just because if you leave it on the low or high when it's on cool, once it gets to temp, the compressor will kick off, but the fan will just keep on running. It will never stop. So for all intents and purposes, you want to even leave it on either on low auto or high auto. And then also, if you want to use your furnace, you just go down to heat, set the temp you want, and the furnace will come on. Bathroom, shower, toilet is over here in the corner. Now, to operate the toilet, it's very simple. To fill it up, you just lightly press like so, and it'll start filling up. And once it fills up to where you want to, you just push the pedal down and go straight down to the black tank. Now, whenever you dump your black tank and you're still going to use it as far as being in the park or boondocking, whatever, you always want to put chemicals down into that toilet, just straight down in there every time. Now, when you go to store it, you would take the black tank flush it out, and you don't have to put any chemicals in it. But before any use, before anything else, you always want to throw just chemicals right down in there. And they do come in pods, liquid form, and in shape or form of that matter. Now all this is, this is your charging station for your solar panel. So right now we're showing 12.4 volts, and it's charging off the roof from the solar panel. It just monitors it. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. If you're plugged in, it should be showing 13.2 volts. And if you're getting below 13.2 volts while you're plugged in, then you have a charging issue. Now over here, supposedly, is where you can hook up your other TV right here. And your mount should be located right here. And this is just your emergency exit window. And then of course, just storage underneath here. I don't think there's anything else to see in here, so we'll just turn off all the lights. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah. Those are just, these right down here are just your tie downs. Let me show you this. If you bring a vehicle in, raise this up, take the cushions out, like so, on both sides, and then you can bring your vehicles in. Like I said, if you do have vehicles in here, you want to make sure you make sure it's not leaning to one side or the other, because the trailer will lean, and it's not. And make sure the gross weight doesn't have to exceed the gross weight. Now, as far as the steps are concerned, like I said, right now we're on flat concrete ground. However, our parks and places are not flat and level, so you have to keep an eye on how level this thing is. Now, these feet are adjustable, move up and down. So if, for whatever reason, you're not on level ground, and it goes like this, it starts to hang, you want to make sure that these are extended out accordingly. Otherwise, if you step on it, it's going to bend this upward, and you won't be able to close the door. And that just shuts like so. Meets the eye. So you have to let your finger off the button, which is located right here for the awning. Now you can leave it, this is a good example of a day if it's not too windy, you can leave it out. But if it's on a windy day, you want to never roll it out because the canopy itself acts like a sail. So the wind will pick it up and just rip it right off. Now you can leave it out if it's raining, drizzling, not really that hard. But you always have to adjust the pitch either side. And the way to do that is you just bend this like so the water will run off one side or the other. Otherwise, the water is going to pool in the middle, and once it pulls in the middle, the water weight itself will collapse the awning. Anything else?
There you have it. Forest River, Salem, FSX, 260 RT walks around.